Okay, it's working. Can you guys hear me okay? Awesome. All right. Well, I'm super excited you guys are on tonight, and we're just going to share a little bit. I'm just going to share a little bit with you as far as the program, and I'm excited for your commitment. I will tell you, in 17 years of network marketing, that really ages me and dates me. This is the best group I've ever had. And I mean that with everything that's in me. I've never seen this much energy from one group. I mean, it is the most cool thing I have ever experienced in my life. And it's not by mistake. I mean, I feel like I spent 6 months writing on a piece of paper the exact types of people I was looking for. Like literally, I would list out every single quality and just kind of I believe in faith they were going to come in. And now here you guys are. And it's just the most exciting thing ever. And so I'm really, really just completely stoked about the momentum that we have going on. And what my goal is to really help you guys with this process so that you can move to executive very, very quickly. Now, I will tell you, and Shalane and Jackie, I told them this a couple of days ago or about a week ago. I was like, okay, you guys have like 2 seconds to celebrate executive, because that's just like the first milestone. So it's like, woohoo. All right, move on. Because executive is not residual. We're really looking for that deep residual income. And I don't know about you guys, but I did not get into network marketing to work 40 hours a week and slave myself for the rest of my life. I didn't do that. Now, I was willing, and I'm still willing, to put in a lot of effort and a lot of time to raise my residuals anytime I want to give myself a raise. But I think what we ultimately want is we want that freedom where if you want to take off time, you can take off time. And the purpose of this particular group is not only do we want to move you up, but we want to move you up within the system that we have built so that everything that you do is duplicatable, if that makes sense.
Right. So, on the burger.
Hold on, I'm going to mute out the lines really quick.
Number one, medium,
Hold on.
Another number one.
Oh, you guys, while I'm muting out the lines, I have like the funniest story to tell you guys. I didn't know that sometimes whenever when my screen is, okay, so when my screen is being shared and I'm doing a screen sharing and it's the whole screen, do you guys know that I can still see you even though you can't see me? I can still see you. So when it's my whole screen, I can still see you. Does that make sense? And so I had a lady take me to the bathroom with her today, but I didn't know what to say. Like, I thought, she is going to the bathroom. And it was on mute. And so I knew she had muted it. And I'm like, what do you do? So I didn't say anything. I just kept going. Like, I never skipped a beat. And so I thought I should mention that to you guys. Anyway, so Gwen said my weed eater was going in the background today. I'm like, Gwen. She goes, I'm so embarrassed. I go, Gwen, I'm going to make you feel a lot better. Like, so I can see you even though you can't see me, just FYI. But anyway, so we're going to be working on duplication. I'm going to go over the program, like the structure of what we're doing one more time, just so you guys kind of have that again in the front of your minds. What we're going to be doing is every week I'll post a video up on the Facebook page for you to watch. This week is a Start Talk video with Hayden and Emily Vavra. Then throughout the week, you'll be asked to listen to 4 boot camps. So this is posted up on the tribe page. So it's developing your why, the boot camp call, starting your online story, becoming a product of the product, and prospecting. You want to make sure you're watching those things, because otherwise what's going to happen is we're talking about stuff, you're going to start feeling some gaps. I've experienced that with some people on my team that have not plugged into our systems. Well, I'll say something and they don't know what I'm talking about. And so you want to make sure you're doing that so you don't have gaps in your training. And then the other thing that you want to do is you really want to get 10 people to listen to the opportunity call every single week. Now, this week is your training week. And so this week, what you want to do is you want to find 10 people that will listen for your practice. And so you're just saying, I'm doing this, and will you just listen for my practice? And we're going to really dig into that topic tonight, because I want you to get off of this call tonight and feel very, very comfortable with that. So every week, that's really what we're going to be focusing on. And then every Tuesday at 9:15 and every Thursday at 9:15, we'll be doing the Zoom. And then we are going to offer the Zoom recorded once a week. And so we'll talk about that a little bit on the Facebook page as well as we get those details ironed out. And so, I want to really dig in with you about the three-way calls and your training. On Thursday night, we're going to do a little bit more mindset, and that is my passion as a coach. Or if you were to say to me, what's my passion in life? All day long, I just want to help people break out of their boxes and help their mindsets and help them see bigger. I mean, I was meeting with Dr. Jesse last week, and I was like, okay, show me your Cure Nutrition project. I want to see your project. And so, like, even beyond Isagenix, I love vision. I love working. So that's my favorite piece. And so we're going to be working a little bit on some vision stuff on Thursday. But tonight, I wanted to give you some nuts and bolts so you can walk away from the Zoom and start earning money and start walking in your power of what to do. So, first of all, the first thing that I want to talk about is, why do the three-way calls? I think that the three-way training calls, it 100% is where the boys separate from the men. So many people that I've worked with in the past are unwilling to do three-way calls. There has been a time, and I really feel like at this point, the time is approaching again, where it becomes so busy in the business that literally, if someone's not willing to do the training calls, I won't coach them. Like, I'll say to them, did you do your training calls? And if they say no, then I'll say to them, I want you to call me back after we've done your training calls. Like, I hope, and I'm not even a stickler. Like, I am, I'm so excited. I found out that I'm left eye dominant. And it explains so much, because I am right-handed, but I think like a left-handed person, and it's because I'm left eye dominant. I found that out this week, and it like answered so many amazing questions for me. Like, how do I live in the creative world, but I'm right-handed? But anyway, so I'm more go with the flow. So I'm not all about being the stickler and everything has to be so. But when it comes to doing these three-way calls and getting trained, it's an expectation that has to happen. Until it happens, you're going to find yourself waiting around on other people. You're going to find yourself saying too much, not saying enough, not getting the results that you want. On a Zoom probably about a month ago, I heard Katie say, if you are on our team and you are not, and you want to be at the manager level and you are not there, it is because you're not following our systems. Like, it's impossible to not be there unless you're not following the system. And I believe that with everything that's in me. I mean, I'm looking at Jackie because she's up at the right-hand corner on my screen. And Jackie came in November. She didn't start working until the end of January. It might have even been the 1st of February before she even agreed to do any calls with me. And the first thing she said is, I want to make money. And I'm like, okay, well, we need to do 10 training calls. So she didn't question. she did the 10 training calls, and really literally 3 weeks later, she was training new people on my team that weren't even on her team. I was like, I'm really busy tonight. Can you do these 5 training calls? She said yes and was able to go in and train them. But that's because it was almost like she took a step back and was like, okay, let me do this. Mind you, that Jackie has a master's degree in education. Mind you, that Jackie is my education mentor. Jackie taught me how to teach, if that makes sense. But she was willing to humble herself and get on a phone call and listen to me do what she taught me how to do, so that she knew how to close and educate with our product line. Does that make sense, you guys? And so that's why you've got to do it. You've got to become a master at it. What we want is we want you giving information Johnny on the spot. We want it to be concise. We want everyone really to share the information in the same way, because that's what makes it duplicatable. And so coming in, like, I can talk, and I know a lot of you guys, that looks awesome. I know a lot of you guys are in sales, and so you're going to know what I'm talking about. But if somebody said to me, here's this used power cord that works terribly, and I brought it back from Zach and Steph's house because I lost mine, and then I broke the thing on it, and all kinds of fun stuff. But if somebody said to me, Amy, if you can sell that, I'll pay you $500. I could find somebody to buy it. Does that make sense? Like, I would figure out a way to sell the thing. And so when I came in, it doesn't matter how much I know how to sell, because if I'm not duplicatable, then what happens is this becomes a 9-to-5 job where I'm the only one that knows how to sell and I'm out doing it. And so what we're trying to do here is we're trying to teach you our strategy, so then you can teach somebody else, and you can teach somebody else, and you can teach somebody else, and it's going to go on and so forth forever and ever and ever, so that at some point you're going to be laying on the beach and you're going to have 8 people message you that say, I just shared the marketing plan with 10 people. That just happened to me. We had our highest week of the year the week I laid on the beach. Get that. But that's because it's duplicatable. And so that's why you want to be able to share the information, Johnny, on the spot. You want it to be duplicatable. Now, this is another piece of this. People need to hear the whole fact information. So, and I know that a lot of you guys are coming in and at different levels. Like, some of you, we've been working a little bit, and some of you are brand spanking new. So for some of you, you've heard the story 8 times, and you're like, Amy, literally be quiet about that, because I can tell the story just like you now. But this is the deal. I learned everything I need to know about network marketing my first 3 weeks in network marketing. I promise you. And people will say things to me, well, I wish if I just had your experience. I'm like, listen, I just had a really good mentor when I came in. She trained me, and I listened, and I did it, and it was everything I ever needed to know. But this is a true story. People need to hear whole facts. The worst thing that you can possibly do is give someone half facts, where they have half fact information, meaning that they say, hey, what's that product that you're using? And you're like, oh my gosh, you would love it, and you could make money, and it's going to make you skinny, and there's these things called telomeres, and mice were injected, and their fur's brown now. I mean, like people say, associates say the craziest things. It's like the spirit comes over them, and they start saying all this stuff, and you've got to control that. You've got to control it. People need to hear whole fact information. If all they hear are bits and pieces, they're going to make a decision based on half facts. And the decision most of the time is going to be no. So I will have an associate say to me, none of my friends want to do this. None of my friends can afford it. And I say to them, how do your friends know how much it costs? Well, they asked me, and I told them it was $5.59 for me, or they could pay $2.79. And I told them they're already spending that at Burger King. And I'm like, no. Okay. They need to hear the whole facts, all of the information. The day that sinks in and you're like, all right, I am never going to give anyone information until I give the whole facts. The day that happens, your business will change. It really will. I mean, I'm tempted all the time. I was talking with the girl, the one that I went to the bathroom with today. Last night, she messaged me and she said, asked me all these questions, blah, 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 blah. I was tempted to give her half facts, but I didn't do it. I said, do you have time, 15 minutes that we can get on a video chat tomorrow at 10 o'clock? Because I'm not going to give her half information. That's not going to happen. I'll give her no information or all information, if that makes sense. And so people need whole facts, true story. The only reason why I feel like an associate doesn't give whole facts is because they don't want to feel pushy, or they feel a little bit insecure, like they're lacking self-confidence, they're lacking confidence in the business, they're lacking confidence in network marketing. I don't expect you to be new and have that, but what I do expect is I expect you to have confidence in your executive that they're going to do a slamming call for you. That's what I expect. And so when I came into network marketing, I will tell you that I believe in this industry. I believe that it's God-given. I mean, I believe that nothing is by mistake. And I would go to my bathroom every night. I would get down on my knees before network marketing and I would pray, because I was teaching in elementary school and I was missing everything. Like I would think, I don't want to eat off this tray anymore. I want to go to lunch. I want to be home with my kids. And I would just pray, God, send me something. Like, give me an answer. Give me a sign. Like, I mean, I'm like down on my knees, like calling it out. And this lady that was in another company, she did a party for me. And she said, you'd be good at doing what I do. You could win a car. You could quit your job, blah, blah, blah. And to me, it was just half-backed information. I looked at her. I thought, there's no way I would do what you do. You're fancy. I'm not fancy. Like, I'm thinking that those things. And then she got to the point, she kept calling me and just giving me all these little information, sending me stuff in the mail. I finally got to the point, it was before caller ID. That's how old I am. It was before a caller ID that I told my husband, if she calls, tell her I'm not home. I know that's lying, but I was so pressured by her, I couldn't take it. And I went to another party, same company. I kept praying every night. I was ripe and ready for the picking. I can tell you guys that there are people all over in your world. Their names get tucked in your mind. You're driving down the road and you think about them. And there are people all over the world that are down on their knees praying for change. I'm sick. I'm tired. I don't know how much longer I can do it. There are people that are thinking that. There really are. And that's what I was thinking. I was ripe and ready, like a piece of fruit, ready to be picked. And I go to my sister's house. I walk in, and she's having a party. And this other lady, other Mary Kay lady, was there. She walks up to me, and she said to me, I have been thinking about you for 3 months. I want you to listen to the information about the business of Mary Kay. I think you could quit your job. I think you could stay home with your kids. After this is over, will you sit down and take a look at this with me? I said, yes. Yeah, I'll look at it. I had told the other lady no for 6 months. I said, yes, I'll look at it. So it was a difference in her posturing. I sat down with her. I looked at it. I signed up. Back in that company, you won cars. I won a car. I replaced my teaching salary in 3 months. And I was at this hotel. After I won my car, after I was making pretty decent money, after I built a pretty large team. And the first lady was at the hotel too. Her name was Renee. Renee walked up to my team and said, this could have all been mine. And she said, I talked to Amy first. And my mentor said, you didn't talk to Amy. She said, you just gave her little bits of information. You never really talked to her. And Renee said, I just didn't want to be pushy. And so I look at that and I think, who do we leave on the table that's ready? Because if they're destined, they're going to come in. And whether they come in with you or someone else, And so you've got to make sure they're hearing whole facts. So that's why. And that's why you have to do the calls, because you have to learn how to do it. It doesn't just show up. It's not, you don't wake up and know how to sell the product. You might wake up and know how to sell, but you don't wake up and know how to close with Isagenix. And so you want to become a master presenter. So how do you book the appointments? What does that look like? The first thing that you're going to do is you're going to make a list of who would listen. And I want to clarify this to you. You're going to make a list of what 10 people would just listen for your training. It doesn't have to be scary people. I don't care if it's your Aunt Matilda. It doesn't matter. You're just trying to get your feet wet. I don't care if it's your dad. I don't care if it's your grandpa. I don't care if it's your first grade teacher who still loves you. I don't care who it is. But you need 10 people that will listen for your training, because you need to become a master presenter. So last week I said you can do 5 calls, and then your executive can do 5 calls while you listen, and then you can do 5 calls while your executive listens. And then I got to thinking about this, because I never want to ask you to do something that I myself won't do. And if I had to have Kathy Cooper listen to me do 5 calls, I think I might throw up. And so if it's not comfortable for you to do it while your executive listens, if it is comfortable, do it. If it makes you feel scared, then do 5 more calls while your executive does it and you listen. And then go out and try it. I mean, whatever works for you. But bottom line, you need 10 practice calls. So what does that look like? You're authentic with them. Hey, Jane, I started using product and I love it, and people are asking me questions. I need to learn how to give the information. Would you be willing to listen to a practice training call? That's it. It's authentic. That's the truth. And I will tell you, people will listen to that. I get all of these things every day. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, every day, you could be a millionaire with my company. You could be this. You could be that. Try my shampoo. Try my this. And I'm like thinking, if that person would legitimately say to me, I just started doing my business and I need 10 people to listen for my training, I would listen. I would listen. I might not do it, but I would listen. The general person will listen. And so that's what you've got to really think about, because what we want to do is we want to get to the point when someone asks you a question, you've heard it trained so many times that you're like, do you have 10 minutes? And you're able just to spout off the facts. So that's what you're going to say to them. Now, the next thing that I want to talk to you about is setting the date. And so there's so many temptations. You're going to be tempted to say, check your calendar and call me back. I know that sounds so crazy, and I don't know why, but you are. But don't do that. You're going to say, when they say they'll listen, you want to get with your executive and you want to ask your executive, what are some time slots that you have available? Your executive's going to give you time slots. Then when you call that person, you're going to say, okay, you're going to know that Jackie has a time slot or Shalane has a time slot at 7 and 8. So you're going to say, okay, well, I could do it at 7 or 8 tonight. Will one of those times work? And if they say, yes, it does, then you want to say, okay, let me get back with Shalane really quick and make sure that still works with her, because I know that she has a lot on her plate, so let me make sure that works with her. And then you're going to call them back or text them back and confirm it, or call them back and confirm it. If it at that time doesn't work, then you're going to get another time that does work from them, and you're going to message your executive until you work out a time. Now, I want to cover one more thing. Do not ask your team to do training calls over text. And it's not, and don't look at me like I'm 43 and I'm from the Stone Ages. You need to look at me like I'm 43 and I read social media books and listen to podcasts all the time. And this is what's happened. People are text numb. And so when you send them a text, it's very, very easy for them to say no. It is easy to say no to a text. I mean, people break up with people over text now because it's easier. I mean, pretty crazy. And so when you're booking, you want to say, hey, Aunt Jane, I have a question. Can I call you? Hey, Sue, I have a question. Can I call you? Don't call them either. Like, it's something like, I forget what the percentage. It's like 96% of all, I mean, I don't even know that this is the exact number, but it's really high. Whenever you call people, they don't pick up the phone. I don't pick up my phone. I turn my volume off, so I don't even know if it's ringing, because otherwise I'm reactive to life, and I want to be proactive to my life. And most people are like that. And so you're going to say, hey, Jane, can I call you? And you're going to get permission to call. You're not going to say why you're calling. If you say why you're calling, she's going to put you last on her list. So can I call? She says yes, and then you're going to tell her, would you just listen? Okay, so that's done over phone call. Now you're going to set the dates, and you're going to go for it. Now, let's talk about the call, because you're going to be doing these this week. You want to print out 10 of the 3-way call outline forms that are on Team Destiny Online. You want to print them out, and your executives are also going to have those printed out. So they're going to have one in front of them. You're going to have one in front of you. And what you're going to find is your executive is going to use the same outline every single time. So they're going to ask the questions. Tell me about you. You're going to hear them ask the question. The person is going to tell them about them, and then you're going to see how they talk about what products they're going to talk about the core products, but how the core products benefit those people. Take notes, write down what they're saying so that you're in your mind, you're learning. So it is a learning process. Don't think it's 10 calls. Like, I love when Crystal, I don't know where she went, I saw her earlier on here, but I love when Crystal said to me, there you are. Crystal said, I one night just decided I'm going to get trained. And so she sat down with Jackie for 4 hours. And they both went through those sheets. And in 4 hours, she was 100% trained, because she was tired of people saying no. She was tired of not knowing what to say. And so you're going to be taking notes on everything that your executive is saying. Now, this is what you're watching for, okay? You're watching for how they overcome objections before the person ever objects. If somebody were to say to me, why are we recruiting? Our team size is half of of some people in Isagenix, and we're recruiting way more than teams that are a lot larger than ours. And so I've had a couple of people ask lately, you know what? What's different? I believe it's because we overcome objections before the person objects. It's a little bit like the concept strike first. Like, if you strike first, you win. Because when someone says, if someone says to you, well, I think it's too expensive, then it's like all of a sudden then you're on the defensive, and you want to stay on the offensive, if that makes sense. And so what you're going to notice is that your executives are going to overcome certain things. Most people, when they get on the phone with you, they are thinking, I've tried shakes before, especially females. I've tried shakes before. They've never worked. I'm still hungry. I don't like how they taste. That's what they're thinking. So they're automatically comparing our shakes to their past experiences. So your executive is going to overcome that before that other person even says anything, because they know most people are thinking that. It's 2016. Most people have had a shake diet that didn't work. And so they know that. So you'll hear them say, before Isagenix, I'd never had a shake work for me. I was scared about how it would taste. And I was afraid I would drink a shake and then gain weight because I would go eat a sandwich too. They're going to talk about that. They're going to say, but I was full. And what I found is our shake is different than any other shake out there, because They're going to spew out all of that. And what you're going to notice is at the end of the call, nobody goes, well, how does this compare to Advocare? How does this compare to Visalis? Those things happen when you've given half facts. So if you're getting all these questions, that means you've said a little bit too much and you're getting half facts, if that makes sense. Now, the other thing they're going to do is they're going to overcome price points because people are thinking, oh, how much is this? And so you're going to hear them break down that it's $3.99 per meal. You're going to hear them talk about how they were already spending that amount of money. You'll actually hear them say the words, it's cost efficient, because it is. It is cost efficient. Unless that person is down home on the farm, which I do have some people where I live that are down home on the farm that like can their beans and stay home and they don't spend very much money. But for the most part, most working moms and working families are spending way more than that. And so you're going to hear your executive overcome the price point before the person ever even says, I can't afford it. They will not say it's too expensive. You will not hear that. If you do the calls the way these ladies are and guys are teaching you, you're not going to hear that. What you might hear is, I need to save the money. I've heard that a couple of times this week. Okay, I need to put back the money and order it on the 15th when I get paid, but not it's too expensive. Just I need to put aside the money. So they're going to overcome that price point. The other thing that you'll hear them overcome is people are thinking, oh no, this is a coffee enema. They're thinking that. And they might not even say it to you, but they're thinking, I'm going to be in the bathroom for 5 days. And so that's in the back of your mind. So you're going to hear your executive overcome that objection. And so you are listening for that to happen. And so this is a proactive time for you where you're engaged. You're taking the time out. You guys, Crystal said it took her 4 hours to get trained. And so that's your question. Can you find those people? You're not asking them to buy anything. You're just saying, will you listen for my training? Because that's our first step. Because as we go forward, we need you to be able to do those calls, Johnny on the spot, and give the information. Because we're going to be jumping into things that build upon this training. So you're looking at 4 hours to get yourself independent so that you are able to give the information all the time. All right. Questions at all? Anybody? Does this help you guys? Awesome. Very good. All right. So you just want to start. Your executive is like, it will make it a lot easier on your executive. I will tell you this. It will make it a lot easier on your executive because she's probably or he's probably working with 4 of you or 5 of you at a time. If you can message your executive and say, okay, I'm game. And here are the 5 people that I want to talk. Here are the 5 people I want to practice with first. That's going to help your executive tremendously, like more than I can even say. Because otherwise, your executive is probably going to be calling you because you might feel a little uncomfortable, and they're going to be saying, "Okay, who are your first 5?" And so, even if you've been out recruiting on your own for a little bit, go back and do it again. Go back and go through this training one more time so it's fresh. All right, guys.
I'll say, Amy.
Yes.
Also, when you guys are on those training calls, I know that it would help me and probably the other executives as well if you take really good notes on your specific person, because say those training calls are turning into people who actually want to do it. You've got it in your head like we're taking in everything, and we are, but I'll tell you something, that when we do 20 calls, we're going to forget who Susan was, and you're going to know who Susan is. So please take notes so that you can help us follow up, because you should be following up and giving us, hey, Susan's the one that wanted to lose 5 pounds. She was interested in this pack. What should I do next? Instead of saying, hey, what happened with Susan? Nothing happened with Susan. Okay? So just be really aware that your executive needs your help on deciding who needs more help and who you're going to follow up with and things like that. Because those training calls, you guys, they turn into sales. So just be aware of that, which you probably already know.
Yeah, you'll get recruits from your training, but don't worry about that. If you do, awesome. If you don't, awesome. But you will. I mean, you will. You're going to get people that will recruit from it. Okay, anybody else? Jackie or Shalane, I know you guys just went through this. Do either one of you guys have anything that you want to input? Because you guys followed it to the T. I mean, literally, and got done really fast, both of you.
I think there's one thing that kind of helps when, and you and I did this, Amy, so many times, that whenever you're introducing your executive to somebody, kind of give them a little bit of background, because we don't mind to do those cold calls and just talk to people right off. But if you kind of give them a little bit of intro and let them know, you know, you're kind of opening the door and almost handing them the mic in order to speak into a friend's life. Somebody that's, even if it's your grandma that you're just listening to, you can say, this is my grandma, and she's just doing a training call just because she loves me. Or, hey, this is my friend Jane. I work with her. You know, she's having some health issues that she shared with me, and I would love for you to share with her. Just to kind of help us know best how to, because, you know, the presentation is the same every single time because the products are the same. But to help us kind of know how to target and how to help you out best, if you would intro that for us a little bit, that would help.
Definitely. Thank you, Shalane. And that is so true. That is so true. It makes a big difference because we talk to a lot of people during the day too. So it's just even a gentle reminder of who this person is, which is awesome. Jackie, is there anything you want to share?
Well, for the ones that are trying to get to executive, I was looking or thinking back to when we were doing those training calls in the beginning, and I took notes on every single call. And I was thinking about the time that I remember going through and realizing Amy says about the same thing every time. It doesn't really waver much. And so that was really important because I could remember that sequence. Then when it was my turn to have to make the calls, I processed that same sequence. And I still keep that prospect call that you were talking about, that paper. I still keep that in front of me just so if they throw out a question and I wasn't ready for it or something, I have the information. Or the fast facts. I have a notebook right here. The fast facts are right in front of me. So if they ask me a question about something, I've got it right here. But that was really helpful to me, is writing down. I wrote down everything you said.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Awesome. All right. Anybody else? All right. Well, you guys, thank you so much. And anything at all that we can do, let us know, and know that the sky's the limit. And we'll be back on Thursday. Thursday's going to be a fun call, lots of energy. So I can't wait. I absolutely can't. So let me know what I can do for you guys. Don't forget to message your executive. Let her know or him know, hey, these are going to be my first 5 people. Let's do it. That's going to be a huge relief for them. Otherwise, they're going to be calling you and stalking you down tomorrow. All right, guys? All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
Have a good night. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Nice.